Greetings everyone, it's Seven from London and I'm coming back with a very quick update. Hopefully it won't be too long, but today I want to first say thank you to everybody who has watched the videos, shared the videos, commented on the videos that I've been making, particularly the one I just did with Brother Lance. I can't thank you, Brother Lance, enough for the support, the love, and the compassion for sharing my ordeal. It's been 20 years, and in 20 years I have literally gone all across the world talking, sounding the alarm to let people know what is happening. And it's been tough, people. It's been tough because sometimes the distraction is what we have to overcome. You know, we have to recognize the mechanisms to stop you paying attention to the things that are actually being put in place for your demise. Because this is not just about me. You know, I shared my experience, but my experience is being echoed all across the world. You know, there are many, many people, some of them are not here to tell their own story and give their own testimony. But we are at an hour right now whereby it's time to focus. Focus on what is happening. Because unlike our ancestors, we have the capacity to do something to stop it before they get to checkmate. And that's what they're trying to bring in right now, is a checkmate situation whereby you're trapped in 15-minute cities. And these 15-minute cities are scheduled to be completed by 2024, which is basically 12 months away. And it's already underway right now in places in the UK like Hampshire, Oxfordshire. They're already putting this thing into place whereby if you want to leave your neighborhood, you won't be allowed. Basically, the whole concept of 15-minute cities is to restrict your movements. Effectively, what they're putting into place is slavery, is permanent lockdown, is what they're trying to do. And create a slave class of people, so there's a massive gulf between the haves and the have-not. So basically, they're asset stripping everybody, people with wealth, unless you are part of the evil, demonic, possessed camp of people, you will be amongst those they want to be permanently trapped, permanently chipped, permanently without the capacity to move freely, to purchase what you want to purchase, and to live your life according to the divine destiny that the Most High has for you. This is what they are trying to restrict and stop. And there's a good reason for that. When people have done wicked crimes, massive crimes against humanity that they know have major consequences, such as capital punishment, such as treason, when people have done crimes to the magnitude that a lot of you are not even aware of has happened and is happening, these are the things that these people will engineer to prevent any accountability for the things that they know they have to account for, because karma is real. What you do to others at some stage will come and seek you out. And if you've spent your life trying to destroy the lives of other people, karma is looking for you. I want to give you an example. Yesterday I watched a video actually of Ukrainian soldiers who are now saying that they're going to hunt down all the leaders who have put them in the position that they're in. Because there are soldiers right now in Ukraine that are in freezing cold temperatures without food, that are fighting a war which has nothing to do with them. They've manipulated the situation whereby people are going out and fighting their brothers and sisters for fight that has got nothing to do with them. I remember, excuse me, Muhammad Ali once said that when the Vietnam War was happening, they wanted him to fight. A lot of you will remember this. And Muhammad Ali said, you want me to go and fight my brown brothers and sisters for what? You know, for something they haven't done. And he refused to do it. And I think it's at a moment in history right now where the Ukrainian soldiers are starting to realize that they're out there in freezing cold temperatures because of manipulation, to fight for people who are sitting comfortably in their houses, sitting comfortably while they're absolutely tearing up the rest of the world and destroying countless lives all over the country, all over the world right now. And this is the moment where the tables turn. And you are going to be the table turners. Hopefully I will inspire that with this recording. I've never used this medium. I just recorded another little sound bite here and it's vanished. So I'm doing it again, but hopefully I will be able to convey the message that I conveyed in the last audio I just did. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is for us to cast our minds to transatlantic slave trade and also pre-Nazi Germany, pre any atrocity really. I mean, I know there's lots of things going on all over the world right now for many people in different parts of the world, but as far as kind of major atrocities, you know, particularly for us as African people, melanated people, indigenous people around the world, we all have a knowledge of what transpired to our ancestors and how they met their demise. I want you to just think about for a moment how it happened, because it wasn't that they took truckloads of people brazenly. It started very slowly in increments. It would be one person will go missing in this family or this tribe of people. Then 2 people will go missing in another tribe. Then 3 people will go missing in another place. It happened in increments, people. Whilst everybody was busy trading, loving, building their homes, families, working, tending to the cattle, to the sheep, to the farms, living their lives basically. One by one, people were going missing. I want you to consider that for a minute, because if you go to a page on Instagram called Black Girl News and you scroll down the pages, you'll see loads of faces of people, black women who are now dead. There's also another Instagram page called Missing Black Girls. And you scroll forever. you'll just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and keep scrolling. And you'll see that what took place for our ancestors is actually happening right now. Right now, whilst you people are watching Netflix, social media, on YouTube, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, people are going missing one by one. And it has been happening for the last 20 years. I've seen it happen. And I've seen what took place to our ancestors happening again in real time. We see in the entertainment industry vast amounts of people, gifted people, die suddenly under mysterious circumstances. Legends, icons, people who have enriched our lives in ways that you just can't even describe. Music that has touched us, you know, people have got married to, had children to, had parties to, graduations, birthdays. Every experience in life, modern life anyway, has had music play a feature in all of our lives. And the people who have gifted us with these magical moments have met their demise in suspicious ways, and that's putting it mildly, because anybody who's awake and aware will know that it wasn't suspicious, it was obvious. Every single case has been obvious, and one by one the wheels keep turning, and we have the same situation again and again. And we see that those who remain are speechless. They're quiet. They're not saying anything. We have to ask ourselves, why is it that they're saying nothing when our icons are disappearing, dying in mysterious circumstances, and there's nobody sounding the alarm, or there are people sounding the alarm, but as far as the people that are in the most powerful, influential positions are concerned, to a greater extent, those people are silent for very obvious reasons. And that obvious reason is, there's a reason why they're not speaking, is because they're afraid. What are they afraid of? Why can't they just speak and talk the truth? Now, the obvious reason is because fear of those who they know are monsters that are operating within these corporate structures, in these companies, in these networks, production houses. They are occupied to the greater extent by monsters. People who do not have humanity's best interest at heart, do not have the artist's best interest at heart, do not have creative people's best interest at heart, do not have melanated, black people, whatever you want to call us, African people, indigenous people, Moorish people, Hebrew Israelites, the Jews, call us what you like. They do not have our interests at heart. We are seen as a resource to be exploited, manipulated, used, abused, and murdered. That is the place we find ourselves in humanity right now. And my personal experience is a testimony of that. It's a testimony of what is really going on behind closed doors. It's a testimony that you can go through the entire judiciary and still find yourself exploited, manipulated, with people openly trying to murder you for wanting to be paid, wanted to be treated with respect, wanted to be credited and awarded for your labor. The definition of such treatment to other people is slavery. Slavery, plain and simple. And it's time for change. It's a travesty of justice, people, that people who have nothing to do with the labor, the creative process, are reaping the harvest and the benefits and the monetary gain and notoriety, accolades, awards of people that you do not know the names of people you've never heard of, people who die in unmarked graves, people who, in some cases, don't even have a grave, people who are living in poverty. The great artist Sly Stone, I don't know if many of you, it depends on your age, but Sly and the Family Stone were a major band with a great influence in modern music and culture back in the 70s and in the 80s. And I believe it was 2015 that Sly Stone's case was finally heard. He had been living in a caravan, and this has been the culture for the most part of the entertainment industry. The greatest artists with the greatest influence, for the most part, most of them met their demise in poverty. Look at the case of Jackie Wilson. Look at the case of Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, Whitney Houston, Bobby Christina, Bobby Brown Jr., Prince, Michael Jackson, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. When you see such things happening, people, you have to sit down and ask yourself what is going on, and come to the reality that something is afoot, something is very wrong. In an industry where so much joy, so much, I can't even describe the euphoria from good music, you know. All of you who listens to music, doesn't matter what genre. Bob Marley is another one. You know, all of the great legendary artists. James Brown is another one. He's got, I think his son is Darren Brown or something like that. Excuse me. Even he is talking about what happened to James Brown. All of these families behind the scenes are screaming about their loved ones, and the wheels keep turning. When you see crimes happen, when you see big crimes happen, like Grenfell Tower, where on the 14th of June 2017, many people perished in an inferno, not by a fridge, as the mainstream media would have you all believe, but by a planned atrocity, a planned event to take out innocent people who had done nothing to anybody. Innocent people who campaigned, in some cases for a long time, sounding the alarm. And these people perished and nobody has been arrested. When you see atrocities happen, like 9/11, 7/7, all of these atrocities, and nobody is arrested, and nobody is jailed, and nobody faces any consequences, what happens is that these people become more and more brazen, more and more bold, more and more wicked, because it's a spirit. In order to carry out such things, it takes a form of spirit to possess people, to want to harm other people that have done them no harm whatsoever. And right now, what we're dealing with is spiritual warfare. But it's not just spiritual, it's physical, because people are actually dropping off one by one. Now, for anybody who has looked into the concept and the what do you call it? I'm not sure what you would term it as, but Agenda 2130. Agenda 2130. If you look into what Agenda 2130 it is to reduce the population by 2030. So it began in 2021. Well, it didn't begin in 2021, but I mean 2021 is when they rolled out the Kool-Aid and systematically have taken out countless people. Excuse me. I probably need some water, but I'm going to just try and give you my message. I'll get some water afterwards. The reality is that we have people who have usurped our positions of power. And I use the word power very loosely because, to my mind, each and every one of you listening to this is powerful. The real power is within. The power to discern, the power to say no, the power to choose, the power to influence your own destiny and take control of it, and prevent other people from manipulating you to have control of your destiny and lead you to your demise, which is what is happening right now. Right now, we have people, and I'm going to name some of those people because right now we need to be able to recognize what is really going on and who is really behind it. It's never, ever the people that you see in the media or the public eye who are the ones pulling the strings. I'm not saying all the big names that we could all reel off the top of our heads, the alphabet soup of names. I'm not talking about them necessarily. I'm talking about the ones that you don't know. The ones that are the manipulators. the ones that have been engineering for the last 20 years in my sight to target, terrorize, brutalize and murder innocent people. And for 20 years they have been protected to be able to do that. And because they're protected, they now believe they're invincible. They now believe nobody will ever be able to stop them because this monster has got so big and out of control that they believe that they are unstoppable. But that isn't the case. Now, the reason I mentioned in the outset about just thinking about before slavery happened, how did it happen? Because these people, we know that we are a royal people. We are a people with a rich history that isn't anything to do with slavery. However, there was a moment whereby people dropped the ball, and they dropped the ball by not paying attention and not fighting for each other, or perhaps fighting for each other when it was too late, when it was cargoes of ships full of people. That was the moment then they realized what was happening. But before it got to that stage, it started with one family missing, one family member missing, a neighbor missing, a child missing, a brother missing, an uncle missing, an auntie, a grandmother, a daughter missing or killed in some way, shape or form. It started slowly, and then it got more and more and more and more brazen until they were able to literally ship vast amounts of people and take them to the most horrific existence any man could ever face. Right now, it's happening again. People are being killed for the melanin. Melanin is on the market, and the only way you can get melanin is from taking it from a person. And so we know that this madness has become as bad as it's become because somewhere, shape and form, people have dropped the ball. And I know people have dropped the ball because I've banged on many doors over 20 years. This is not the first time I'm talking. I've been talking about this for 20 years. I've been through the entire judiciary. I've never lost a case. Yet, this evil monster has grown bigger and more brazen. Because even people like Mike Adams, I think he is I've forgotten the name of his channel, Mike Adams, health doctor or something like that he calls himself, I can't remember. And he's been talking about the extermination of black people for a long time, many, many years. And in fact, there's lots of people that have been flagging up what is intended for us, the majority of the people on the planet. We're not the minority. In the UK, they call us African, Caribbean, indigenous, melanated, Moorish, Hebrew, Jew people minorities. That's bullshit, people. There's more of us on the planet than anyone else. Now, obviously, it's not just us who are being targeted. But as we can see, we're usually the ones that are dying in the rap industry, in the music industry. It's not just us, but more than anybody else, the brutality is directed at us. And so we're at a moment in history where we have the opportunity to shut it down. We have the opportunity to look back in history and see exactly the same template that was used against our ancestors and actually say, hell no, we're not taking this shit. And that's what we must do. What can you do? There's many things that we can do, and that's where we have to take our focus to. Now, I mentioned on my interview with Brother Lance the back off hashtag. That's something that people can do. You can use that hashtag back off and blast it over everything. Anytime you go on social media, you use the hashtag. Just like they did with the Me Too movement, to highlight the exploitation, sexual exploitation in the entertainment industry. However, now is the time to lift the lid on the crimes being perpetrated in the entertainment industry, because it isn't just the entertainment industry. They're connected to the medical fraternity, the judiciary, the courts, the intelligence agencies, the governments. They are connected to everything, the mainstream media. This is why we're not seeing the truth in mainstream media, because it is a crime syndicate, family. It's a crime syndicate that has been operating for the last 20 years, in my sight, brazenly, staging all the atrocities. It's all being staged. Everything that you see is being staged, and they're killing people in real time, so that your focus will be on whatever they want your focus to be on. It's time for you to write the narrative. It's time for us to write the narrative as a collective. And the narrative being, we shut this down once and for all, because if we don't, everybody will be locked into these 15-minute cities by 2024, which is not that long away. Time moves very fast these days, as you know. By 2025, they want to take money out of circulation. They want to be able to control how you eat, how you shop, how you exercise your choices as a free, sentient being. And if you do not exert your power, they will get away with it. And this is why I'm making this note. For you to recognize, just like our ancestors were enslaved one by one, household by household, compound by compound, tribe by tribe. They're doing the same thing right now, and a lot of you are not paying attention to it, but it's happening, people. And it's important that you recognize that if you want to be able to live your life freely, love who you want to love, be friends with who you want to be friends with, live in freedoms and a free life that is according to your free will and your destiny, you're going to have to become accountable and responsible for the world that you're living in, and participate by sharing the information. It's a dangerous time, people. It's a dangerous time because the majority have given over their power to a small amount of people who have decided that majority of you must die. There's a very important book that, if for those of you anyway that read, by a sister in the UK called Natalie Moore, and the book is called Remote Control. Now in the UK, 20 plus years ago, I think she's been chipped for about 25 years, a dentist was opened in the North London area, Tottenham area I think it is, it could be Haringey area, and this dentist was tasked with chipping black people unbeknownst to the people in the community. And Natalie happens to be one of those people who went into the dentist, and she came out unbeknownst to her with chips all in the head area and neck area. I've actually seen a video of her being scanned. Another sister had a device where she ran this device across her body, and the parts that were not chipped were silent, and as soon as it got to her head area, this device was kicking off, detecting that she had been implanted with something. Now, she's written a book called Remote Control, which is on Amazon. And that book is indicative of the world. Excuse me, but sorry, people. That book, Remote Control, is indicative of the secret world that's going on right now. People like Natalie, myself, and many other people that were targeted or have been targeted for 20 plus years have been the guinea pigs for the wider program which is being rolled out right now. This is where they are taking humanity if you don't shut it down. Natalie speaks about them being able to roll her eyes back in her head, move her limbs involuntarily. I mean, we're talking the stuff out of Frankenstein that is being done to human beings. It's torture. Under the Geneva Convention, what you're seeing taking place is defined as forms of torture, and they know this. They know Grenfell Tower, 7/7, 9/11, they know all of these things were crimes against humanity that constitute genocide. And this is why they want to put humanity into checkmate position. Because once you're in 15-minute cities and that system gets implemented, you're finished. Everybody is finished. Because you'll have to interface with the new world that they're putting into place, and you'll have to live your life around that, being restricted from movement, restricted from what you can do, what you can't do. And the time to shut this beast down is right now, people. Right now. All you have to do is think about what they did to our ancestors and look at what is taking place right now, and you'll be able to draw parallels between then and right now. The chip is the new shackle. The track and trace is the new shackle. Because with the track and trace situation, they can track you wherever you go. Once that device is within you or on your person in one way or another, They can find you anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. And we're talking about monsters, people. These people are absolute beasts. It's time for people to also recognize that we need to mobilize. There are a number of different brothers out there, and I'm appealing to you all. If you're in the Hebrew Israelites, if you're in the Nubian community, if you're in the Christian community, if you're in the Muslim community, and you have a large network of people, because these people work in networks, we also need God's people, whatever tribe, religion you may be in. If you recognize yourself as serving the Most High, this is the time that we need you good brothers and sisters to start to find the names and addresses of people and the organizations that are organizing this from behind the shadows. And that's the people that I'm bringing to your attention. The Christopher Gossage, the Tony English, he's changed his name to David English, from the law firm Russells. Charles Russell from the company Charles Russell. Beinman and Partners from the company Beinman's law firm. Tamsin Allen, Jeffrey Beinman. These are people that you don't know the names of, so it's like, who are they? But these are the architects of evil behind closed doors. Helen Alexander, that's another name. James Manson, that's another name. You'll never hear these words, these people's names spoken of, unless you are privy to what is really going on. Virgin Media, if you have a Virgin Media phone and they're your service provider, terminate it. Virgin Media are a big part of this crime syndicate. They took over the NHS contracts for billions. Just put it in Google. Put Virgin NHS contracts and see for yourself. This crime syndicate is behind BlackRock company, who are literally taking over the whole world. They're buying up everything with stolen money, people. Stolen money. They've stolen everything. And they're creating a slave class of people where it will be the haves and the have-nots. And the have-nots will have nothing. Remember, they said, you will have nothing, or you will own nothing, and you will be happy. These are the kind of monsters that we're talking about. We're talking about people believing that if you brutalize other people, you torture them, terrorize them, kill their loved ones, they will be happy. These are psychopaths, people. These are sadistic, psychopathic people who are demonically possessed. Truly. And right now, they are in positions that need to be visited by you good brothers out there in the Hebrew Israelites. If anybody listening to this can get this message to the Hebrew Israelites or any of these big organizations that are serving the Most High, this is the time where the brothers and sisters from the Hebrew Israelites, the Nubian nation, the Christians, the Muslims, unite as one force to be reckoned with and start descending upon these organizations. I believe Beinman and Partners are in London, in the King's Cross area. They used to be anyway. Russell's Media Law Firm, Charles Russell's. We need to flush these people to the surface. Virgin, I don't know where their headquarters are, but they can be found. And basically what needs to happen is that our people need to go there and tell them, shut it down. Shut it down. Just like right now, I opened by telling you about the Ukrainian soldiers who now say they're going to hunt. They've vowed to hunt down all the leaders who have them in freezing cold temperatures without food, fighting people who they've got no argument with. This is the level of manipulation. This is why the most important power that every single one of us should be following is the power of the Most High, not man's power. Because as we can see, it will lead you to fight for unjustified cause to brothers and sisters that have done you no harm. These are wicked people, family. Very, very, very sadistic, wicked, evil people who are proud of being evil, who are proud of being sadistic. So, have waged a war against all of us. They've waged a war. It's full-scale war right now. And a lot of our people are just in oblivious. As I said in the other video, I've spent many years banging on the doors of so many of the people with big platforms. Hopefully now they'll recognize that if they want to carry out any of the great works that they're doing or continue to do so, they're going to have to unite and get this message out, help us to get this message out. On a last note, I want to say, stay prayed up. Spiritually protect yourself. Keep your frequency high. Connect with like-minded brothers and sisters and discern who they are, because not all skin is kin. There are people from all communities within this demonic fraternity and syndicate who are gone. Some of them, I don't know if they'll ever truly wake up and recognize the harm that they're doing and recognize the need to stop the abuse that they're doing to me and you and all the people around the world. Some of them are just too far gone. That's the reality of it. So I don't want to make this video too long. I'll make another one, but the message today is slavery is here. It's already here, people. When they start talking about putting in 15-minute cities, and that entails them being able to block off areas whereby you will not be able to get out of that area. We're talking about is far, far into the game. As I said, go and have a look at Black Girl News to see how many black women are now dead. Go and have a look at missing black women. Have a look at all the cases of people who have got body parts missing. They've been showing it to you in the movies forever. Look how many slavery movies they've put out there. Do you think they just put out those movies by chance? Roots, 12 Years a Slave, Birth of a Nation. I mean, what's Harriet Tubman? There's been so many slavery movies because that's what they're doing, and they have been doing. It's been going on for decades. And most people haven't noticed. We hear in the news, this one is gone, this one is gone, but they no longer report it. They only report big stories when they want you to focus your attention on that so that they can get on with building something elsewhere while you're, upset and justifiably mad about the killing of another black man, the killing of another black woman. Those are the ones they want to report on, but there are many behind the scenes, just like my cousin, my beloved cousin, Ronnie Nicholas. They killed him, they poisoned him, they didn't even give me the right to bury him and give him a proper ceremony. He was cremated without my consent or authorization. They cremated him like he didn't exist. No inquest, no inquiry, just murdered and gone so that nobody could get the evidence from a proper autopsy. Coroners are involved, people. Look how many of the Kool-Aid cases where people's family members died in another situation and they put the C word on the death certificate. They've been doing this for a long time. They did it to my cousin and they've done it in many, many cases in the UK. You can't even trust what you get from a coroner report and autopsy because many of these people, if they're not independent, they're part of the syndicate. It's a monster that is out of control. And what needs to happen is we turn it around. And the positions of power that currently occupy demon-possessed, sadistic, evil, wicked, murderous people needs to be replaced by the Most High people. There's a scripture that says, when the wicked are in power, the people mourn. And when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. It's the truth. I can't remember what scripture it is. I'm sure someone out there will be able to put it in the comments. So the message today is take your power back. Slavery is right here. It's not coming. It's been here. It's been here. It's been in your face. You just haven't been paying attention. Just like our ancestors were not paying attention. And before you knew it, they took millions of our people. Right now, it is millions of our people. Look how many people are dying of the Kool-Aid. We can't even quantify the death toll. And that's all different cultures and people. People need to unite. That's what I say. For us as melanated people, we need to get our A game on, because once we get our A game on and we put the right kind of leadership in place and we start internally following the Most High rather than following man individually, but we move as a unit, the rest of the world will become healthy. Once we are healthy, the rest of the world will be healthy. Because right now, we are in the worst position ever. Really, family, this is the time. It's a spiritual revolution that's happening. And you're part of it. If you're born today and you're at adult age, you're part of it. So take your position and do our ancestors proud. Show them that we didn't drop the ball as well. Peace out, people. I'm sending love, gratitude, and appreciation to everybody. Share the video, like, share, and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend that it's time to shut it down. Peace out, family.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at lancescurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lance Scurv.